Okay, that brings us down to the appraisal process here. And what we have here is, I like to try different things. Half of them don't work, Dean, but I try them. How many people in here has been recently in the last year had a performance appraisal done on yourself? Okay, man, about 12. Were you happy with that process? What about Nashville? How many people had a performance appraisal done on you within the last 12 months? Oh, almost the whole class. How many people participated in a performance appraisal and actually conducting one with one of your employees in Nashville? I see, Rhonda, your hand went up. What about Knoxville here? About 3, okay. Let's look at this a little bit closer, okay? The appraisal process. This is where you talk about active participation. You put a pencil in your hand and you write down these notes. There's not many of these, okay? Everything else I give handouts. You might have to zoom in on that a little bit. If people's vision's like mine, 20/60. But you know, it's interesting, in Nashville, you all set your clocks forward, didn't you? So you should be synchronized with us in Knoxville here. Okay, the first step, if you look at the performance appraisal, is mainly to establish performance standards with employees. That's the first thing you want to do. What do you expect your employees, what standards, at what level? Also, looking at the appraisal process, you want to the manager and employees set measurable goals if you're in that area. What's reasonable? In my performance appraisal, what I use, I have the employees evaluate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. Then supervisor evaluates them on a scale of 1 to 10, see if there's a big discrepancy there. They evaluate themselves at an 8, 9, or 10, which is higher of the scale of a 1 through 10. Then they have to justify and document why they give themselves at 8 or 9 or 10. And likewise, if the supervisor ranks them 1, 2, or 3, then he or she has to document why they had a poor evaluation. And then at the end of the evaluation, they come up with some measurable goals, some goals that they want to aim for. So if you look at step 3 of the appraisal process, measure actual performance. Well, obviously, we just got through doing through this exercise of job descriptions, job specifications, requirements, and things like that. So I think that we can probably plug some of those in there. And then we want to actually, this is where you come in when you come with performance appraisal in stage number 4 here. And that's to compare the actual performance with standards. Now, I know there's all types of performance appraisals out there and various instruments that you use. And we'll get into those, and Andy, his presentation will do also further support that. And then we have 2 presentations on performance management and then the legalities of it. So establish performance standards, set measurable goals, measure actual performance, compare actual performance with standards, and then step number 5 is to discuss the appraisal with the employee. This is an area here that sometimes is very hard. I mean, it's real nice if you got someone coming in, they're getting a high performance. It's nice when my employees, they evaluate themselves low and I'm able to evaluate them high. But if they give themselves 8, 9, and 10s and they deserve 5, 6, or 7s, then it's harder for the person to call them in and say, we have a major disagreement in this process.